Be sure to check out my Patreon for weekly exclusive interviews, extra content on Veve and Ecomi, and building generational wealth, as well as money management tips from experienced whales. Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another Veve and Ecomi video. And this one, we are going to jump into where we left off at in the last video. If you didn't see the last video, be sure to check it out. It was just uploaded on the channel not too long after I'm going to be posting this video. So yeah, I might post them together. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, that being said, like, this is an Alfred Kahn interview. This is going to be the last part to it. It's not too super long. But this is actually, it sounds like we're about to get into the part where he talks more so about Veve and what's going on there. So it's going to be interesting. Like, the first part is so amazing, though. Like, the first part made me even more bullish on Veve and bullish on him, and realizing that he was a visionary of his time, too. I mean, to be able to have his accomplishments and have done the things that he's done, I mean, it should have been obvious that he's a visionary, but like, it's just made it very clear understanding his history and that he actually is insane. So yeah, we're gonna jump into it, y'all. Let's get it, and be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and all that.
And another crazy story. I had a guy that I had met, I don't know, during the Pokemon days, who lived in New Zealand, and he wanted the rights to Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading cards in New Zealand and Australia. I didn't know this guy from Adam, but he owned a couple of card shops in those markets, and of course, that's a place to sell them. So I licensed him Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! For cards, and I found out he was 19 years old when I licensed him. And obviously, he made a lot of money, and he came back to me, 30 years, 35 years later, and said, look, I got an idea for a digital collectible universe. And I went, what is that? And we met a number of times, and he explained to me that it was that he believed that everything would go digital eventually anyway. And these were about NFTs and the blockchain, and whoa, it was like, right over my head.
I know what you mean.
But then when I started to look at it and started to understand it, I said the thing that he would be lacking would be, what are your NFTs going to be? And he said, well, I need licenses. I need to get to the biggest licensing companies, and you can do it because of your background. And I said, also, I needed a name. I need positioning lines. So I took it was interesting to me. So I got involved with him 4 years ago, and I introduced them to every major licensor. We got meetings with either the general managers or the presidents of these companies. And one by one, they started to fall in to play. And of course, we ended up with the biggest coup. We got Disney and Marvel and Star Wars and all that stuff. And,
I'm hoping for a Pokemon slip, bro. I'm hoping for it. He's saying the only stuff that's public right now. Like, he's still sharp, man. He's still sharp. I know y'all got Pokemon. Don't lie to me. But I've been waiting for it, man. Like, come on. Like, but it is interesting to hear. Like, I mean, we all know for the most part that Alfred Kahn opened up all these doors for them, even with David's background. I mean, it sounds like David just really lucked up and got Alfred Kahn signed off when he was young. But then, I mean, obviously his business success and stuff like that, he knows what he's doing. Like, he's been able to do some amazing things. But yeah, like what Alfred Kahn opening the doors to licensing, and David having this type of experience in the realm already. Yeah, that's insane, man. Like, this partnership was like just meant to be.
But again, in my mind, who knows what's going to happen with this thing? And worked on it for 4 years, and eventually when we launched, about literally a year ago, it went nuts. And so basically, we ended up with an amazing thing called Veve, which I named it. And now that's going.
Listen. You gotta be careful of the things that's said, because Alfred Kahn said he named Veve. He's proud to say that. Like, he's proud to say that. That means that the name Veve to him is going to mean something someday. Just like the name Pokemon, which he also named, and just like the characters within Pokemon, which he also named as well. So, like, don't sleep on the fact that he brags about the fact that he named Veve. Don't sleep on that, because the things that he's named, look at what they've done to the world. Just going, yeah.
We ended up with an amazing thing called Veve, which I named it, and And now that's going, full bore. In the same process, when I was now looking for licenses for Veve, I ran into a company called 451 Media, which I didn't never heard of. Okay, I walked into that office, and the two guys that ran that were guys I've known for 30 years. Again, another two guys that I knew. And I said, what are you doing? I explained what I'm doing. And they said, look, we're working on a new process of printing, a special printing process that prints inks on materials. And one of the things we're working on is a COVID-19 mask. Well, COVID-19 was obviously really, happening at that moment. I got sick before that, and I got sick again. So they showed me the process where they developed this ink that they could print on, a mask, and it actually deactivated COVID within a minute, which that's crazy. No one's ever done that. Well, that started another complete odyssey about, marketing it and naming it and getting approvals, because it's a medical device. It's not a mask that it's a real medical mask. It's good for operations. It's good for everything. Well, so we now started the process of approvals. We got, SAFRA, which was Africa. We got CE, which is Europe. And now we're waiting for the final 510K from the US government. And we're now marketing these masks, and it's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty exciting. The other side of that technology is you can actually print that ink on anything. So we can make wallpaper that'll be antiviral. We can make air conditioning filters that'll be antiviral. So this is going to be a pretty amazing thing. And so, we're involved in that. And then the last thing was I wanted to start a new 20th century toy company. I looked at the market for the toy business, and I felt it was kind of broken because you had three customers. You had, Target, Walmart, and Amazon. So anything new and exciting, you weren't ever going to get because.
Yo, what happened to Toys R Us, man? Toys R Us was the GOAT, man. That used to be like, it used to be like Legoland when I was a kid. By the way, Legoland is kind of lit. Or I've never been inside of it, but it used to be one where I used to live, and they had a huge giraffe right outside built out of Legos. That was fire. But yeah, it looked like it was fun inside, but I had no reason to go in, obviously. So, yeah. What happened to Toys? Not Toy Story. What'd I say? Whatever.
They weren't going to buy it. Right. I also felt a category that was important that no one had ever hit on in kids was wellness products for kids. Wellness is a huge business, as you imagine. So we started a company called Contagious that, the name obviously was, we did the name before the pandemic, but it was supposed to be, you love this, it was called Contagious. The positioning line was Epidemic IP.
Nice.
It was like, I get rid of that line, right?
You're right.
But the whole business model on Contagious is basically a incubator for new ideas in the toy business, and also wellness products, and all this direct to consumer on our websites. And that's now going to be up and running shortly. And one of the first things we have, I bought the #1 show in China, the way I did with Pokemon. I got it back, and I realized I couldn't localize it because it was just so weird. So I asked the Chinese if they would do a brand new version of it if we rewrote it. They did. They launched it in September. #1 show in history of China, 7 billion views, and now we're.
He still got it. Now we gotta do that again. We gotta hit that back, run that back. He still got it. So if all these visionaries is out here seeing this potential with Veve, he's still doing stuff like all of his businesses are going crazy. He has vision. He's sharp. He's jumping in, like with his history and background of nothing failing, and him constantly doing this stuff and still doing it. And he sees Pokemon level potential in Veve. Come on now. Come on. Like, yep. Wake up. Don't sleep.
The #1 show in China, the way I did with Pokemon. I got it back, and I realized I couldn't localize it because it was just so weird. So I asked the Chinese if they would do a brand new version of it if we rewrote it. They did. They launched it in September. #1 show in history of China, 7 billion views, and now we're launching that in the rest of the world. So it's a crazy ride. So all that.
It's probably going to be launched on Veve, by the way. Probably will.
That goes back to what we want to do with the children. So we've got the foundation involved in a number of things that would be incremental to them in terms of getting money, et cetera.
Well, Alfred, there's a saying, doing well to do good. and doing good to do well. And you are the epitome of that. If it passed anyone by as I, let you explain that story, imagine the brands, the size, scope, and scale of what you've been involved with. And all I can think of, and something that I try to help empower children with, is the importance of having an open mind, an open heart, and open hands. And I'm getting choked up just thinking about how much you have accomplished, but not for yourself, for, like you said before we even started the podcast, for a purpose to leave to other people so that they have something that you and I didn't have, right? I'm a kid who, my mom packed my dinner in a paper bag, worked 2 jobs just so, I could have dinner. She worked 2 jobs without my dad being around. And, your story resonates. But despite the challenges in this great country of ours, here you have this open mind from a department store saying, wait a second, I think there's, a bigger model here. And, you're in your 70s and it still hasn't stopped, whether it's the Vita prints, the Vericide that is the printing mechanism that will change that face, then the biggest licenses that you hold in digital collectibles, these NFTs and blockchain, everyone thinks it's for the 30 and 20-year-olds. Watch out, because Veve has the biggest properties in the world. And then, of course, you even have a new podcast to release.
30 to 20-year-olds. I mean, I think he's insinuating that this is for kids. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you look at Al Kahn history, I mean, this has been obvious from the jump, though. I've said this multiple times, but Al Kahn targets kids. He's literally come out and said that this was a kid's play, by the way, if you haven't saw those videos that I did. But yeah,
to share these stories called Gotta Catch 'Em All. And there are lessons in these stories. And I want everyone hopefully to go back and listen to the lessons, because I sat quietly learning and inspired by all that you have accomplished in your beginning of your life here. I'm praying we got 40 or 50 more years of you. You've survived COVID twice.
Sure so. That way, but I think, David, I look at you the same way. So I did some homework on you as well, because I always think, it's important to, have an understanding.
Did you just say you hope they got 40 and 50 more years? I mean, it would be nice, but that's ambitious. I mean, that sounds that sounds bad. Like, I mean, do I even want to be that damn old? Like, I don't know, like 100 or something. Like, cause my man's 70, right? So that's like 40, 50 years is 110 or something. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, am I gonna work still? Like, hey, I don't know about that.
That way, but also, I think
you're accomplished in your beginning of your life here. I'm praying we got 40 or 50 more years of you. You've survived COVID twice.
Sure that way, but also, I think, David, I look at you the same way. So I did some homework on you as well, because I always think, it's important to, have an understanding of who you'll be talking to. And, I can't tell you how impressed I was with everything that you've been doing. This getting the Nobel Prize. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, junior achievement was nominated.
That is the ultimate tribute. But I think the point is, we have to get away from the politics. We have to because I don't care about. Frankly, I worry about the division of the country. But there's one thing I think we all agree on. That's children. And I think I'd love to see more politicians have platforms that are relegated to that. Because that's something I think we could get everybody to agree on, whether whatever your political aspiration is. The families are so ultimately the most important element in all this. So
that's like, this guy's really is a visionary. Like, that explains so much why he focuses on children. Like, I mean, you hear songs and stuff and people say children are the future, but you don't realize how true it is till you see a guy dedicating his whole life who has done so much for children, and everything he does is to make the lives of children better. Like, it's insane. It's insane. And yeah, I mean, it is a perspective. It's something that everybody, universal, is global. Like, you can agree on children. That's insane. That's deep. That's mad deep. Shout out to Al Kahn, bro.
I think we have to do that, and that if we can do it through toys or games, and we can do it through foundations, that's the most important element. I also feel that we have to make sure that all of our children understand they have to give back. And
Yes.
I have one quick story, which I think is really great. There's a couple that Joey and I, who actually introduced Joey and I together, and he unfortunately passed away. And his name, they had 2 kids, right? And this guy was a billionaire, a billionaire. He built so much real estate in New York, and he had two boys. And the 2 boys were told at a young age, they have to give back. And so when they went on vacations, where'd they go? They went to see the poverty in Africa. They went to see the poverty in India. And the mother, Gail Furman, was always introducing them to problems relative to children. Well, today, Jesse Furman is a federal judge in New York, and his brother was the chief economic advisor to Obama for 8 years. So they spent their lives giving back to the society they were, but that was all generated by their parents, right? Because if the parents hadn't been that way, who knows? Because they're billionaires, they can have anything they want. So
I love that.
So
it's interesting because
it actually sounds like Alfred Kahn is not a billionaire. I thought he was. Because he does have a reputation for being able to. He's the guy who generated, I think, they say $1 billion for 25 years straight. So obviously that would be $25 billion he generated. But I guess that's what he was generating for like Nintendo, or that's like including what he's helped generate for all the other IPs and stuff like that. I guess that's what he made his businesses generate, more so than what he has in the bank type of thing. So
one of the things that I was taught relates to toys in that manner. And, one of my biggest fears is probably yours is with our own children, I can't teach them to be poor, and I can't teach them what I learned by being poor. But with my toys, one of the things that we did every year, birthdays, Christmas, all the holidays, that we would get gifts. For every gift or toy you got as a child, you would have to pick one and give it back and give it away. And that, now that my children are older, and have studied we have a foundation in Africa. We build community centers in schools and water. And I'm the chairman of Unstoppable Foundation. And they've, on their own gone into South America, into China, into Africa as well, the same way. It's amazing how those little things, when they were 5, 6, and 7, change the way that they look at things in abundance. And I just am so grateful that the universe, I wish I had time on this podcast, we have to end, but the universe literally bumped us into each other 3 different times. And Jillian, and
that's the craziest thing. And one other thing I just want to add, that the foundation, once the masks are approved for the 510K, we're going to give every first responder mask in the United States.
Oh, wow.
We're committed to that. It won't be enough forever, but it'll be enough to get them started. So that's something that the company is committed to. They'll be donating millions of masks, at no charge to first responders once we have the 510K.
Well, send my love to everyone there in New York City, especially your beautiful wife, Alfred Kahn, the incredible philanthropreneur, an idol, a new friend and mentor of mine. Thank you for all the great lessons. I look forward to doing more with you.
Okay, there we have it, man. So that was the interview. This was amazing. This was an absolutely amazing interview, man. Let me know what you all think about this. I mean, Al Kahn is an amazing guy. He's definitely amazing, yo. And yeah, I look forward to seeing the vision that he sees for Veve, because even though we see some of it, as you can see, this guy's always thinking ahead. He's sharp. He's thinking about how his businesses connect, how one business connects with the other, what he can leverage to bring more to each business. It's crazy. It's crazy hearing how he thinks and how he talks. This was much better than I even expected, and I already expected it to be fire. So yeah, let me know y'all thoughts. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out.